everyone, welcome to Jolly Molly TV. We are going to do another block today in Kimberbell's Candy Corn Quilt Shop project. This is fun. It's really coming together, and I hope that you're excited to keep stitching out blocks as I am. So today we're going to work on the wire dress form. Again, the skirt, don't worry about that right now. That'll be stitched on at the end of the project. We're going to just work on the block behind it. So gather your fabric supplies from your plastic pouch system or Ziploc bag for the wire form dress form, and I'll meet you over at the machine. We are at the machine. Is everybody ready to get started on today's block? Cool. I know I am as well. So let's go ahead and just bring up the design on your embroidery machine. For reference, I have the Brother Dream machine, the original one, so you can kind of have an idea of where I'm going on the screen if you have a machine like this or similar. So I'm going to go into the embroidery section. I have all of my designs on a flash drive, so I'm going to click on the flash drive. I have saved mine in a folder called Candy Corn. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull up the quilting designs. There we go. So now if you're looking at the Kimberbell instructions, go to page 20. We are doing the wire dress form block today. So on the upper right hand side of page 20, you're going to see that this trimming instructions are going to want us to square this finished block to 4.5 by 6.5 inches. That is our measurement to decide what quilting design size that we need. So again, it's 4.5 by 6.5. Now I want to choose this 4 by 6 inch quilting design. Again, the trick is to make sure that you are pulling up the design size that is just a smidgy smaller, allowing for seam allowances, than the squared finished block. If you do it this way, then the quilting design will fit perfectly to the applique design that we're going to do. So let's select the 4 by 6. There it is, my candy corn quilting design. Go ahead and click set. Brings it in just beautifully. Now I'm going to add and go back to the flash drive, and I'm going to go to candy corn and the main quilt, and now we're going to add the applique design for the wire dress form. And I'm going to down arrow here because the design is way down here. There it is. Now, if your machine doesn't allow you to add designs like this, that's okay. What you're going to do is you're going to bring up the quilting design first. You're going to stitch that out. Then you're going to clear your machine and you're going to bring in the wire dress form design and you're going to stitch that out. So if you can't add designs like this, it's totally okay. You just do it one piece at a time. Okay, so it looks good. We're going to click set. That is going to be a cool block, and we're all ready to go. So we're going to click embroidery. Okay, so now that the computer side is set, now let's go to the hoop section. I have a fairly good size amount of bobbin thread still on my bobbin, so that is good. I have gone ahead and put a piece of poly no-show mesh cutaway stabilizer in my hoop. Now you can use a 5 by 7 hoop for this block, no problem. I choose just to use the 8 by 8 because it's a little bit easier to see things on the camera, but you can use a 5 by 7 hoop for this, no problem at all. So go ahead and load your hoop onto your machine. My machine says, ooh, I loaded a hoop, and it wants to move to center, so we're good. We're now centered. And now we're going to talk about thread. Okay, this wire dress form block, if you're using the fabric in the kit, it is this awesome kind of a bright neon green, really cute fabric with sayings like Dead and Breakfast Inn, Candy Corn Quilt Shop, now open. Oh, it says the Boobista will be right with you. That's cute. Okay, so this fabric is from the kit. We're going to be stitching this down, and I'm going to be quilting this with a bright green thread to match. Now to save some steps, I went ahead and I've put the bright green thread already in the machine. The first stitch we're going to make is a placement stitch for the batting. Then we're going to tack the batting down. Then we're going to do a placement stitch for the fabric and tack the fabric down and then quilt it. All that can be done in the same green thread. We don't have to keep changing threads. So go ahead and put whatever thread is going to match your background fabric. Put that color thread in the top of your machine. In my instance, it's green. And let's go ahead and thread the needle. Got it. And let's go ahead and stitch out the placement line for the batting. We are ready to go. Okay, now we're going to place the batting down and make sure that you cover that placement line. My piece is a little bit big because I'm still using scraps from another project, but if I do this right, I can probably get 2 out of this scrap sideways. So that will be a good thing. I'm double checking. We are good. So foot down and either tape it down or do what I do and use your fingers, but make sure you keep your fingers away from the needle. And let's tack down this batting. Looks good. So now let's take the hoop out of the machine and we're going to go over to the table and we're going to trim away this excess batting. Okay, the batting is trimmed up nicely. So let's put the hoop back on the machine. Make sure my thread is out long enough to catch. And now let's stitch out the placement line for the fabric. You got this. Okay, now we're going to place the fabric down. Just make sure you line it up so that it covers all of the placement lines on all sides. Kind of hold it there, kind of measure it. Yep, that looks good. And we're good on the top. So we'll do the same thing. Either tape it, hold it down, keep your fingers away from the needle, and let's tack down this fabric. And now for the fun part, we're going to stitch out the quilting designs. And see, we were able to stitch all of these steps so far with the green thread and not have to switch back and forth. Most of the time people always say put white thread in to do your placement lines and stuff. But if you're going to match your fabric anyway with a tack down, you don't need to, because you will never see the thread that's underneath this that was used to tack down the batting, that was used to do the placement lines. You're never going to see that. So it kind of saves you a little bit of time in switching out threads, and believe me, every amount of time adds up. So let's go ahead and sit back. Let's stitch out the quilting designs. In real time, this is about a 4-minute stitch out. So we're going to fast forward through this, and here we go. I just love how that quilting looks. Oh, it's so cool. All right, we've only got one thing left to stitch out, and that is the dress form. So it's going to be black thread in the top of your machine. So let's go ahead and load that up, and we can get this stitched out. Okay, did you get the black thread on top of the machine? Perfect. So let's go ahead and put the foot down, and we're going to stitch this out. Again, this is about a 10-minute stitch out in real life. Let's fast forward through this, and we're going to have a wire dress form here in no time flat. Here we go. I love how this turned out. Each block I love even more than the previous block. This quilt is really a winner. I've loved every block so far. This is amazing. Let's go ahead and take this hoop over to the table and let's finish up this block. Just love these blocks. So cute. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to take it out of the hoop. Put the hoop aside. And this time, let's cut it with the orange pop rulers. Okay, so I'm getting out my rotating cutting mat. When that goes, woo, love that. And then we're going to get the orange pop ruler that measures 4.5 by 6.5 inches as our rectangle. Okay, out of the rectangle set. So each block, as we go through this project, will have this line. I call it a stitch out line, where we tack down the fabric. That is going to be where you line up your ruler. It's kind of the perfect system. It not only tacks down the fabric, but it gives you that lineup so we can see exactly where we're going to trim out this block. It's beautiful. And that's also when we were talking earlier about the quilting designs. If we pick the right quilting design and it fits into this block, all of the quilting design fits inside this square. You don't have to worry about cutting anything off. And if you've noticed, we have plenty of fabric left over on all 4 sides. So we didn't have to cut the fabric bigger at the beginning, as long as we select the right quilting design that matches the final squared up block. So here we go. I've lined it up. I'm going to turn the mat just a little bit to one side. I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to put my blade in this notch. I'm going to keep the blade all the way up against the ruler on the left to that notch. Now I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, you're going to just do the opposite. You're going to do it this way, notch the blade in the notch, and then you're going to keep the blade up against the right side all the way into that other notch. Okay, so it works both ways. Make sure I'm lined up and go slow and steady. We don't want to cut any fingers off. Blade goes in, slow and steady. all the way up to the top. And then with this rotating cutting mat, you just move the mat. You notice how I'm not moving the block. So it helps, except I move the ruler. There we go. It helps keeps things from moving as much. So you get a accurate cut, and you can cut faster without having to reposition it each and every time after the block, except if I move it. There we go. And there we go. And one more cut. Go down. And in. All right, let's see how that did. That one. Okay, we got one little corner that's needs to be assisted here. There we go. Put that aside for later. Look at that. Get that little thread off there. Isn't that cute? It'll be a perfectly sized 6.5 by 4.5 inch block. Okay, so now my favorite part of this video. We're going to put together all of the other blocks that we have done so far in this project. Not in any particular order, just lining them up. Look at that. And that's the, let's do that. That's thimbles. We want to see those. Look at that. Look at how much you've done so far. Isn't this fun? I hope you had fun making this block today. And please stay tuned on my channel, Jolly Molly TV, for the rest of this series as we go block by block. Please subscribe to my channel. It's free. If you just click on that red subscribe button, it helps me be able to do what I do for you. So please subscribe. Again, it's free. There's no cost involved. Just hit that red button. And then after you hit the red button, click on the bell notifications, because then you will be notified every time I upload a video in this series and my other projects. And then go ahead and click like too, because YouTube likes to see if people like the videos or not. That would help tremendously, and I truly appreciate it. So I hope you had fun today. So I look forward to seeing you again here on Jolly Molly TV, where we work on the next block in Kimberbell's Candy Corn Quilt Shop. Okay, guys, have fun with the rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.